Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And it's time for another daily dose of Dismal Disney. We're going to talk about how Disney is basically eating the rich at this point. We've got, on one hand, Abigail Disney out there saying that Cinderella is sleeping in her car. And next to that headline, Disney World fans are outraged about their $600 dinners.
Yeah. I knew about the Victoria and Albert's thing for a couple days. I just didn't know if it was worth a video or not. But there's interesting, like you said, juxtaposition here.
Yeah, because I'm looking for Disney news out there. We're seeing things like Disney wants to start doing gambling now, so we're basically,
I did know about that.
Yeah, so they're basically turning Disney into Vegas at this point.
Well,
They've already got the alcohol.
I knew about them wanting to do things with the Disney Plus app with sports betting.
Yeah.
I didn't know they were going to try to bring things to the parks because they had removed some of the game machines, I thought.
They did. I think the first step is they want to do sports betting, and then that might open up the floodgates for actual gambling. A couple of years ago, they took a lot of the arcades out, I think.
Yeah, they took some of the stuff out, and we were like, that was weird.
Crane machines and the redemption, because I guess that's considered gambling if you've got ticket redemption.
They had these cool, were they Tsum Tsums? They had some neat different things that you could get overseas at the parks, but they didn't have them over here because of the gambling thing.
The gambling thing, yeah. So anyway, let's talk about this, because I just thought it was really interesting. Again, it's a weekend, but going out and looking for Disney news, these two articles were literally next to each other.
Yes.
Cinderella sleeping in her car, and oh my God, my $600 dinner.
I know, it's funny.
So before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. Over, 276,000 subs. Thank you for the support. We do talk a lot about Disney, having worked in and around the company for a number of years.
Nah, you're a liar.
You're a liar.
That's Twitter.
Yeah, Twitter knows everything. Clownfish, what are you talking about? So let's talk about Abigail Disney first. She's got this documentary, which I haven't seen, but she's been railing for years about the low pay at Disneyland. And she's not wrong. But the flip side is, I don't know if Disneyland makes enough to give every cast member like $60,000 a year to live in LA.
It still wouldn't be enough to probably live in
It still wouldn't
places.
be enough. That being said, it is kind of appalling. We saw this firsthand. We actually said before that it was really disgusting to see how they treated their cast members during the shutdown, that they basically said, hey, you guys are on your own. See ya. And their CFO gets like an $11 million bonus or something, which
up to was several $1 million. Yeah, it was insane.
So they're talking about Abigail Disney, saying, whenever I give someone my credit card and they see my last name, I experience the passion for Disney. She said, I think the online culture has only amped it up, given people more of an intensity than they used to have. It's not how I am, but I understand that Disney means a lot to a lot of people. So I think she's kind of like, I know Disney means a lot to a lot of people, and I am a Disney, but I'm going to slam Disney for what it is now. She says about the documentary, she says, now's the right time to release it because during the pandemic, we saw billionaires get richer and nothing being done for essential workers. We did not match our language with action. Oh my God, imagine that. Americans see Disneyland as this treasure, and the people who work there are really important to them. It makes true. Yeah. It makes people miserable to think that Cinderella is sleeping in her car. And that's an important feeling to pay attention to because it's your conscience.
Well, it's not just that people aren't aware. Like, they aren't aware that because you're paying so much to go to these parks, you just automatically assume that the people that are working there are getting paid well. I mean, it's Disney. They're the Disney difference, the Disney family. They're not going to pay their people ghetto wages. That wouldn't happen. It's like, no, Disney doesn't exactly necessarily treat their people that are on the lower end of the spectrum very well. Their executives get treated really well, but there are people that are actually the ones that interface with the customers, the ones when people talk about how exciting Disney was, they love Disney, the cast members, and how much difference the cast members make. Those are the people that are kind of getting screwed. And now you're starting to see the cast members kind of getting sick of it because you're hearing more and more stories where the cast members weren't as magical as they used to be. Because they're probably like, I don't get paid enough.
Yeah, they're not getting paid enough to be magical. So this is the juxtaposition here, because we've said multiple times, and we've had a lot of people come after us for it because again, the pixie dusters are like, Disney can do no wrong, Disney's a magical place, yada yada yada. the reality is most of the cast members couldn't afford to go there, and they certainly can't afford a $600 meal.
No. But I love this. There's been several decades of building towards that kind of worship. Yes, thank you. It's a cult.
We're worshiping them for making money, both for investors, but also for themselves. They have cultivated the idea that no one else can do the job they do. They're so uniquely talented and so special, nobody can replace them. I'm sorry, but I don't buy that. That's talking about Disney. And the thing is we're seeing Disney being replaced by degrees. I mean, at this point, I think Universal is going to give them a run for their money in the theme parks, and they did treat their people better during the pandemic than Disney did, you know? So it's just that, you know, this is mostly to promote our documentary. Yeah, it's bad. I mean, it's not a good situation. But then, so we go from that to the fact that Disney at this point is absolutely positively pricing out the middle class even. We're not even talking about the people making $10 an hour, $12 an hour. We're talking about like middle class workers are being priced out of Disney parks completely. Well,
to be fair, Victoria and Albert's wasn't really one that most middle class people were going to go to anyway.
No, but this shows the mentality, right? The thing is if it were up to Disney, every restaurant would be as expensive as Victoria and Albert's.
Right. I mean, there's different levels of, you know, like if you can afford a tour guide. If you're rich, you basically can get all kinds of shit. Let's be honest. It definitely is a
classist.
Yeah, it's a classist thing at Disney. But one of the most expensive things at Disney is this chef's table at Victoria and Albert's. Victoria Albert's is in the Grand Floridian. You must dress to go to eat at Victoria and Albert's. You're talking suit and tie, you know, dress up for women, you know, that kind of thing for Victoria.
You have to wear pants. You can't wear flip-flops.
You can't wear your shorts. You have to wear, you have to dress up, dinner jacket for this restaurant. And they charge accordingly for this, and it's already expensive. But now it's gotten even more expensive. And yes, they do have a live harpist.
Harpist, is that
the way they call it?
I don't know. There's probably somebody that plays the harp watching this video.
And I'm not talking like the live harpy like me, but the live harpist.
Yeah, they'll be like, I am called a harp technician.
Harp technician.
Harp technician. So yeah, now we're going to the other coast, Disney World. Same mentality though. Disneyland now they do have a Carthay Circle, which
this Victoria and Albert's is still worse.
Oh, Carthay Circle though with the food,
it's not good.
It wasn't good.
That's what you can say for the price.
For the price, it wasn't good. Anyway, most magical place on earth. Apparently, people aren't happy about one thing. There's $600 dinners.
No, let's be honest here. A lot of people complaining about it would never eat there to begin with.
I know. They're complaining because they can't afford to go. But it is weird. It is weird to see Abigail Disney out there talking about how unfair Disney is to its employees and then turn around and have one percenters complaining that their prices went up on their Disney.
Oh, if you've been on any of these pass holder or Disney fan boards, they are very up their own ass most of the time. Anyway, it's a pass hole for a reason.
Pass holes. Disney World fans are criticizing the powers that be at the theme park for significantly raising the price at its most expensive food establishment.
It is a significant price hike.
Yeah. The restaurant's located in the Grand Floridian, which is a very expensive and I don't believe worth it hotel. No. Options at the resort are plentiful, with 10 restaurants to choose from based on movies such as Mary Poppins, Beauty and the Beast. Victoria and Albert's is the belle of the ball. Victoria and Albert's closed for a time due to COVID.
It was renovated.
It was renovated. I think, didn't they add a walking path or something from the Floridian to Magic Kingdom? Anyway, the restaurant opened on July 28th with the updated look, new and ever-changing menu, and a higher price point. Of course it did, because it's Disney. Of course. The standard menu begins at $295 a person, with optional wine pairings starting at $150, or non-alcoholic pairings which start at $110. So you can save $40.
Now this is an increase because look, originally it was $185 per person.
Yes,
and $250 with the wine pairings included. Now you're talking $300, about $450, for the same thing.
Yeah, so the point of contention for some seems to be the more luxe options. This includes the Queen Victoria room dinner, which now costs $375 with $200 and $110 drink pairings depending on the alcohol content. Better be some damn good booze. The chef's tasting menu, which used to cost $3.50 a person, is now $4.25 a person.
Per person.
Per person.
Now, the reason it is because only 6 people a night get to do it.
Yeah. It's exclusive, right? The wine costs $200 for highest. It costs total $625. So you get the chef's table with the wine pairing, $625 a person. Then you're talking, 2 people going, gratuity. It's a very expensive meal.
Yes.
I think you'll be shitting
People
gold.
take their whole damn family.
I know, right?
I'm like, I'm just
Buy
like,
a car, go out to dinner. Buy a car, go out to dinner. I don't know. Disney declined to comment on the online discussion and reason for the price increase because people will pay it. That's the thing. That's the thing. Like, none of this insanity is going to end until all the rich people get bored of Disney and stop going.
While the food prices did increase, they didn't increase that much. Like, we're talking like a huge hike, like almost double the price on the basic,
Eggs are up $1 a dozen, so now we got to charge an extra $50 for an omelet.
Right. At Victoria Albert's.
Victoria Albert's. Debate has been brewing in the subreddit Walt Disney World, with some decrying the price hikes and others defending the House of Mouse. Crazy overpriced, wrote one user on Reddit. Michelin star restaurants in New York City don't even cost that much. That is actually true, except the very best. Like 11 Madison Park, which is only $335. But that's pretty scary, isn't it? Like, one of the best restaurants in New York, which, New York is a very, exclusive dining experience. If you're going to Michelin star restaurants, $335. It's cheaper, almost $100 cheaper than going to a theme park restaurant, which I heard is very good, but not $425 good. Holy hell. I'm sure it's a great experience and super fancy, but no thanks. I'm out. No chance I'm spending $300 a person to eat some food. This person was never going to go anyway.
That's what the one person said. Let's be honest. You weren't in at $185 either.
That is true.
That is true. But I mean, most people aren't, because it's effing ridiculous. I'm sorry.
So here's, now to bring it back to Disneyland. This is more expensive than a 4-course meal at Disneyland's Club 33, which is pretty crazy. Speaking of the most exclusive Disney experience, it has a 10-year wait list, according to reports. It also boasts an alleged $25,000 to $50,000 initiation and yearly membership fee. So while the actual food at Club 33 is less money, it's also not in the long run. That is a celebrity.
But you get a lot of other stuff, though. You get, basically access to the parks whenever you want and all this other kind of crap.
Access to Tom Hanks. I guess he hangs out there.
Probably.
I don't know. I think he's got a lifetime membership. They do give out lifetime memberships to Club 33, as I understand it, to celebrities and friends of Disney. We're not a friend of Disney anymore. I don't think we're going to get in. On the other hand, users chimed in on the discussion to defend it. Completely worth it.
Okay.
Completely worth eating $600 while Cinderella
and
sleeps
all the
in her
food
car.
is very small. Do you see this? You're getting this price, and you're paying this price, and that's the food.
This is
it's like one bite.
Chocolate thing with a little glob of chocolate poo. I don't know what this is. If you really value an exclusive experience with an elevated service and elevated food,
oh god,
$300 is probably not unheard of. That actually is true. That is true. When did people start thinking that every experience at Disney had to be affordable and open to everyone?
Also true.
That is also true. Now, here's the thing. I'm not going to tell people how to spend their money. I just think it's very interesting to see the juxtaposition that as Disney cast members are struggling to make ends meet, experiences they could never, ever afford are getting more and more expensive.
Well, put it in perspective, the chef's table, right, with tax, gratuity, and everything, you're talking $4,000 a night, for the whole table to be filled. So, I mean, how much would that pay somebody? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, it's and look, and I understand too, in Disneyland, and that's what Abigail's talking more about, it is a lot more expensive.
Oh, I don't know, Orlando's getting up there.
Orlando's getting there, but it is still more affordable than Southern California. But yeah, we were joking.
The spectrum of chocolate, an ombre delight featuring specially sourced chocolates with accents of vanilla, champagne, and Grand Marnier from Victoria and Albert's.
Specialty sourced
in one damn bite
from Hershey's in Hershey, Pennsylvania. We got your chocolates right here. Actually, a true story. All the Mickey pretzels are made in Pennsylvania. I know exactly where they're made, in Pennsylvania, and they're not allowed to talk about it, so I'm not going to talk about
another
it.
fun story. The Via Napoli, the pizza.
Yeah.
And they said, it had like special water to make it. It comes from Pennsylvania. It's basically the same, like, content, mineral content, breaks down to be about the same thing as what's in Italy. So they actually bring it in from PA.
It's out of Scranton, because they got a lot of...
Is that where it is?
A lot
Scranton?
of mobsters in Scranton.
Is that where it is?
Oh, I don't know.
No, it's not out Scranton, but it's in PA.
Not everything Disney has to be attractive or affordable for every person. We did this for our honeymoon in 97. I'm sure it cost a lot less. It was quite amazing. Luckily, we didn't pay for it, but a family member did. I would still have paid myself, though. It's definitely a once-in-a-lifetime thing for us.
A lot of this is once-in-a-lifetime thing.
Oh, here, what?
Oh, they fixed it?
They fixed this. You were calling this out the other day in these articles. An earlier version of the story incorrectly quoted Walt Disney World's motto as the happiest place on earth. No, Disney World is not happy. That is actually the motto for Disneyland, where Cinderella sleeps in her car. The story has been updated to reflect that Disney World is the most magical place on earth.
That's right.
Most magical
See, I
place.
caught that right away. But that's because that's my job to cover this stuff.
This isn't gonna end anytime soon. I mean, look, they're going after the whales. They're gonna keep making even like mundane things more and more exclusive. But again, the problem that people are having is, okay, while you're jacking the prices, that's great for the shareholders, but what about the people that actually make the park run? They can't afford it. My advice for Cinderella, and we talked about this before we recorded the video, is that Cinderella, since she has a car, she's sleeping in it, she needs to get in her car, drive to Texas.
Or someplace else.
And get a job working in like IT or something.
Right. I mean, the thing is, people want to be part of the magic so much. And it's like, oh, it's my dream to work there someday. And not realizing that the reality of working there might not be the dream of visiting there. You know?
Oh my God. So this article, which is about Disney cast members being underpaid, goes on to talk about the bitching over the Little Mermaid casting.
And Snow White. Well, the people are mad about Renee Zellweger because Snow White is Snow White because her skin was white as snow. I mean, racism aside, it kind of is a reasonable reason to be like, wait a minute. And then the Halle Bailey stuff, I've said before, it's like, I can see her, she isn't too bad as Ariel, and she can sing. I can see her being an Ariel. I just don't like, she's just not Ariel. You know what I mean? I don't know. But you're not allowed to have a difference of opinion, or you are istophobe.
None of these movies are going to be any good. We know none of the live action.
It doesn't matter who's in it. It's going to suck.
I don't even think it's worth it. I mean, we talk about the backlash because it's interesting to comment on it, and it's more severe than I thought it was going to be. But the reality is both of these movies are going to suck ass. And it doesn't matter who's playing Ariel or who's playing Snow White. They're going to be dog shit.
Right. Well, Snow White has had so many speed bumps. The set burned down. God is literally telling you, don't make this movie. And they're still doing it.
Peter Dinklage burned it down.
we had the dwarf issue. It's just been...
He's an angry elf.
It's just been... Yeah, maybe they should just rethink this whole thing. Anyway, let's wrap this up.
Rethink it all, Disney. Abigail Disney told you to do it. All right, so we're going to wrap it up.
Yep.
Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. We'll talk later.
Bye.